Hello and welcome to the Dave Bristol Show. I'm DB, of course, and joined today with my son,
AB.
Austin Bristol. That's right. He's going to be joining us today while we talk about stuff like, the Nazi Guard, who they just discovered helped kill over 33,000 people. We're going to talk about people winning the lottery. We're going to enjoy some mead from Texas Mead Works, and we're going to talk about games. Coming up next on the Dave Bristol Show. Thanks again for joining us here on the Dave Bristol Show. DB and AB joining you, and we welcome you to our little conversation. We're going to kick off this episode, though, with something kind of interesting. A little mead from Texas Mead Works here in Seguin, Texas. Actually, it's Seguin, just down the road from us here in Round Rock, where the Dave Bristol Show is taped. I'm trying today, well, we're both trying both, but I'm going to be predominantly drinking the Peach Melomel, which is a nice peachy honey mead. What do you got?
I've gone straight traditional, old school for what's, imaginative, damn it.
Keep going.
Imaginatively titled Traditional Mead by the Texas Mead Works.
So not only are we enjoying the mead, we're actually using a couple of different ways of drinking it. Austin, what do you got there?
I have a formerly frosted pint mug that I've been drinking out of.
And I am using my Arne Haugrud pewter chased Viking drinking horn. So pretty good. I'm having the peach. Peachy and honey and alcohol-y. Very good, very delicious. We're going to be enjoying that throughout the day. That's Texas Mead Works down in Seguin, Texas. They have one type of mead. It's a limited run mead called Berserker's Blood. So you might want to check out that. Check out their website, texasmeadworks.com. So there we go. And just be sure you let them know that you heard about it on the Dave Bristol Show. The traditional is a bit more dry than the peach melomel. The peach is a little bit more sweet, but it's got that great peachy flavor, and they both have that nice honey. Oh, and they use local honey down there at Texas Mead Works. So give them a visit, and I think they have another winery close by with which they're affiliated. They have tastings and events and things like that. So go on down, check them out. Texas Mead Works. Good stuff. Now, one thing I want to stress. Oh, no, go ahead. What?
I was just going to say, I can't tell you that this mead works, indeed.
Yeah. We've already been sampling it a little bit, so you'll have to forgive us our extreme Nordic happiness. So now I forgot what I was going to say. Texas Mead Works. Oh, yes. So, as is the case on all my previous episodes and on this episode, it holds true. I'm not being paid for any product placement, okay? These are products that I've tried that are generally local, either to Texas or the United States, okay? Just like with Mountain Dwarf Forge or Maverick Horseback Riding, those kinds of places I have firsthand experience with, and I'm not getting paid a single dime, okay? These are true endorsements of products and services and companies that I have personally and Austin has personally had experience. So rest assured, we aren't going to give you BS product placement unless I really, really need the money. So, I mean, I'm a capitalist. So anyway, let's get into this one. Okay, so there's this couple in Louisiana that plays the lottery all the time. They play a lot. They have them apparently stacked around their house. There was a big jackpot, $1.8 million jackpot that has gone unclaimed. They were cleaning their house for Thanksgiving and came across the winning ticket. All right. So, Austin, when was the last time you cleaned your room?
I gotta say probably sometime early 2000s.
Okay. So, but you don't play the lottery as often as they do. So yeah, they actually brought in 1.3 million after all was said and done, and they said they aren't going to go crazy with the money, which is that's good. That's good. It's good to start from that position at least, so that you don't get into too much trouble when you are spending your winnings. So this guy, he lives in Cedar Park, which is just up the road from us here in Round Rock. He was accused of breaking in and beating up and cutting his ex-girlfriend. And this is supposedly happened in 2017. And he has been fighting, there it is. He's been fighting for 8 months to get the charges dropped and his name cleared. Well, I don't know when exactly they gave the DA, the Williamson County DA, the information about this selfie that he took on the alleged night of the attack, where he was 70 miles away downtown Austin at the Renaissance Hotel with his mom and the rest of his family. They took a selfie. Luckily, it was geotagged and time-stamped and showed that he was nowhere near this ex-girlfriend when she claimed he was there breaking a protective order and cutting her and all this other stuff. So he was facing 99 years in jail over this false accusation. So, I mean, the way things are going these days, I hope you've treated everybody in your past with the utmost respect and didn't piss anybody off for any reason.
I don't think I've ever... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can say that.
Okay, well, short life over here. Now, in my life, I've got a lot of people who would be pissed off enough at me to try to put me through this kind of bullshit. So
dude, this guy's the same age as I am.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
It's pretty crazy to imagine. That's some intense stuff happening.
So this kind of goes into those red flag laws that they've been trying to get passed and actually have passed in some states, where anybody can say, I think that guy is dangerous to the community and he has guns. And so they send the cops to come pick up your guns. They don't ask you to come defend yourself or anything. They do away with due process and come and grab your guns. Well, up in Maryland recently, some guy got killed because they were coming to take his guns, and they, as far as he was concerned, they had no reason to take his guns, and they ended up shooting him. Now, I don't know all the details around that, but, I will say but, this guy seems like he had some anger issues and might have been a valid target of the red flag laws. Now, I say valid with an asterisk, because any law that infringes upon any person's Second Amendment rights or other constitutional rights is invalid in my view. Okay, if the guy had not done anything to anybody, he had not been arrested for anything or for doing anything violent, then they had no reason to go and take his guns just on the word of somebody else. Okay, as we know by the Salem witch trials, a person's word isn't necessarily 100% ironclad. So I'd like to address something else here real quick, Austin. My viewers have not seen me with this scruffiness before.
Yeah, you've been pretty clean shaven at this point. Yeah.
Well, it's almost by necessity. I can't grow hair very well on my face.
Yeah, me either.
Now my toes, I'm like a hobbit down there. But so it's No Shave November, bringing attention to men's health, and I've had health issues. It's impacted my ability to do these episodes in a timely fashion. I apologize about that, folks. I'm still dealing with some health issues that I'm working to get fixed. So you have to forgive me. But I'm not shaving, and this has been the whole month. So as you can tell, if this is so far, let's say the 24th, if this is the 24 days in, how long it would take me to grow anything of any consequence. I'm so wanted to shave it off, but we'll see how it goes at the end of the month. I'm going to wait. Anyway, So yeah, can you imagine this guy
Right.
facing 99 years in jail? That would have, if he would have had to go to jail, that would have been it for him.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that would have been life.
yeah. I mean, 21 in jail. Forget about it.
100,
Forget about it.
110 years old, you get out of prison.
So
Crazy.
this next story, this German man, he's 95. This is from Fox News. Lucas Michaelionius. Wait. Michaelianus. I guess. I apologize, Lucas, if I butchered your name. Over at Fox News, a German man who's 95 years old is accused of being an accessory to murder of 36,223 people at a Nazi death camp. So they've had guards come up for trial before, and now he's just accused. Okay, so once they've determined that he's actually the guy they're looking for, then they'll punish him, I'm sure, in whatever method they deem necessary. And by they, I mean the Hague or whoever it is overseeing this. His name is Hans H, and they're keeping his name private as much as possible for legal reasons. They're saying he had been an SS guard at Mauthausen death camp between mid 1944 to early 1945. That was part of, so mid 1944, let's say June of 1944 to early 1945. That's about 9 months. Okay, let's say
Give or
9
take,
months.
yeah.
Let's say 9 months. 9 months time, he helped kill over 36,000 Jews, Poles, Gypsies, homosexuals, artists, academics, the intelligentsia, as it were. That's 9 months for 36,000 people.
Now, it does say I mean, not to defend the Nazi or anything, but it specifies in this article that he aided or at least made easier the killing of. So
right, he didn't actually pull the trigger or
he was just
open the valve on the gas chamber or whatever
just
they
a guard
did at
there.
that camp.
And now SS guards, if I remember correctly, are more of the higher ranking guards in the Nazi echelon, if I remember correctly.
Well, I think it's by party affiliation, and I'm sure our viewers will correct us if we're wrong on any of this stuff. We welcome the corrections, okay?
For sure.
Let us know if we're messing up somehow. But from what I understand, the SS, they were the Schutzstaffel. That's what SS stands for. They were the elite of the German military organization, which was the Wehrmacht. The Wehrmacht was all of the well, I think Wehrmacht might have just been the army. I don't know. You tell us, okay? But I do know that if you were in the SS, you were part of the elite force, and they would make SS people the commanders of units and tank platoons and things like that. And you had to be a good fascist, National Socialist. And to become part of the SS. These are the true fascists. These aren't the kinds of quote unquote fascists that Antifa is fighting against, quote unquote. Those Antifa idiots. You can't use violence to try to get your message across because your message is lost in the delivery method. Idiots. Nazis. No, sorry, you're using that word wrong. This guy was a Nazi. Okay. And I hope he gets what's coming to him. I hope his family isn't too sad. Let's go over here. Okay, so I'm sorry to laugh, y'all. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a very godly person. Okay, I'm not saying I don't believe in God. I'm not saying I do believe in God. All I'm saying is, the jury is still out as far as I'm concerned. Austin, I don't know how you feel about that. You don't have to say what if you don't want to. What do you believe in God?
Not particularly. I feel like I'm in the same vein. The jury is still out for the most part. There's a lot that I feel like shouldn't in a world where there's a maker or an all-powerful being. There's more happening that I feel like should happen in that context. There's also a lot of wonderful, incredible things that happen in the same context, so it's hard for me to say one way or the other.
So it's hard for you to attribute that to an all-knowing, omnipotent being, or you just don't know?
Just don't know.
Okay. Fair enough, right? So this guy, he was an American Instagram adventurer and evangelist. And he was killed by the members of the Sentinelese tribe. And this island is in the middle of nowhere. It's farther from India than it is from just about anywhere else. But India apparently is the country that's in charge of what happens with these people. It is illegal to go to this island. You're not allowed. Nobody is allowed to go to this island. Because when people go to this island, they get killed immediately. Okay? These are they're no longer an uncontacted tribe, by the way. They haven't been an uncontacted tribe for a long time. People have gone by. There's video of people going by and throwing coconuts out into these people, and they were happy to be getting this free food from these people who floated by on a boat. But there's a law in place that you cannot visit this island because they kill people. So this evangelist. Wow, that meat. Need more meat. Peachy. So this evangelist decided he was going to go and he was going to introduce himself and Jesus to these people. And he had a diary and he's saying things like, quote, "Lord, is this island Satan's last stronghold where none have heard or even had the chance to hear your name?" End quote. So as far as being a Christian and evangelist and giving testimony and trying to convert people and pass along the name or give the name of Jesus to the unwashed tribes or whatever, he was doing exactly what his calling, from what I understand. Some Christians have a calling. His calling was to go spread the word of Jesus around to everybody he could. So in that sense, hey, live your life, buddy. I mean,
right.
you believe in something that strongly and people are telling you, no, don't go here, they will kill you. Well, then more power to you. And I'm sad that this happened to the guy. I really am, because it's a hell of a way to die, getting arrowed by anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get arrowed by Joe Rogan. You're right. Much less, somebody who's using, rudimentary bows and arrows, archery weapons. So
yeah, he claims the arrow was shot by a teenage member of the tribe and pierced his waterproof Bible.
Damn millennials.
Ha! Which, in my opinion, adds just an extra layer of irony to this whole thing.
Well, considering the fact that millennials aren't teenagers anymore.
Oh no, yeah,
so,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, but us old people, get off of my lawn. But yeah, I guess they said he's a teenage, but these people are very short. So it could have been a 20 or 30-year-old guy who they thought was a teenager by their social measurement. So in this guy's diary, he says a lot of interesting things. So he had gone to the island before, all right, and he says in his diary, he says, quote, "I hollered, 'My name is John. I love you, and Jesus loves you,' end quote." And he describes some of the Sentinelese men as being 5'5" and wearing yellow paste on their faces. He tried to speak their language and sign, quote unquote, worship songs to the tribe, eliciting angry reactions. Well, what if what he was trying to sign was something like, "Fuck you, I want all your women," or something like that, and he just didn't know it, and they got pissed, and they're like, "Kill that guy." He's coming to,
right.
The worst part of this is, it's bad that the guy died, but the worst part of it is this tribe has no antibodies to outside diseases. So his very presence on that island and them killing him and dragging his body down the beach and burying it might have exposed that tribe to any number of modern diseases that they have no protection against. So hopefully that that doesn't happen, but we'll just have to wait and see. 7 other people, though, were arrested on suspicion of helping this guy. I keep saying this guy. Let me give you his name. I mean, he did die, for his beliefs.
His name is John Allen Chow. He was 26.
John Allen Chow, 26.
I have a friend whose name is Chow. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's sad. It's sad that happened to the guy, but sometimes that's where as a libertarian, and my belief in personal responsibility and consequences of our actions come into play. Yes, he was doing what he thought best for his beliefs, but he faced some pretty serious frickin' consequences of his actions. Okay, so one more thing here from the Chicago Tribune. Okay, so those of you who are on the right side of politics are going to be like, oh, Chicago Tribune, leftist, rah, 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 rah. That's okay, because they have actually something pretty interesting to say in this commentary. Now, this is an editorial, this is an opinion / commentary, okay? So this isn't an official stance by the Chicago Tribune. So that's probably why they allowed it in the opinion / commentary. This is from John Lott Jr. From the 20th of November this year, talking about how gun-free zones invite mass shootings. That's the headline. How gun-free zones invite mass shootings. So it's really a polarizing subject. This whole gun control, gun support debate that we're having in America. Frankly, I'm not having this debate with people who I meet every day. Okay? I see people carrying openly, rarely, here in Texas. It's a fairly new law, so not many people have taken advantage of it. I open carry. I belong to an organization called Open Carry Texas, and I support them as much as possible. The message and the mission of Open Carry Texas is one with which I agree, that the Second Amendment and therefore all other constitutional rights are inviolate. There's no debate as far as I'm concerned. You have a First Amendment right to free speech. You have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. You have the right to not have soldiers billeted in your house. You have a right to be secure in your effects and papers. Everything in the Bill of Rights and everything in the Constitution. It is a limit on government. It is not a list of rights that we have. You okay there?
Yep.
Okay. That means getting on you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So the Constitution keeps the government from infringing on those rights, but those rights aren't the only rights that we have. Right. So gun-free zones, it's basically a sign saying you cannot carry your gun here. This is a gun-free zone. You've seen them around if you've been out in public anywhere. You see here in Texas, it's called 30-07 and 30-06. 30-06 covers the restriction of the business on people carrying in a concealed way. 30-07 is that business saying that you cannot carry openly. I went with my girlfriend. Where did we go last night, Lisa? Catfish Parlor. Yeah. Yep. So we went to Catfish Parlor, had a nice meal at Catfish Parlor. Great place over on 183 in Austin, Texas. They didn't pay me for that. All right. I paid them for some good catfish. But they had a sign, and Lisa says, hey, do you need to go back to the car? Because I was carrying my pistol concealed like I always do. And I looked at the sign. It said 30-07. I know it by heart. It was a legal sign. So I kept my jacket on while I was in the restaurant. So that's good. That's fine. We're law-abiding citizens. Those of us who carry generally, we're law-abiding citizens. Although one guy who was legal carrying did shoot up that place in Maryland.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, it's not good. But he had already had some issues. So we'll leave that. That's been covered ad infinitum in the news. So y'all can look at that if you like Maryland. But this article from John Lott Jr. It talks about how there are other countries that have gun-free zones. Some other countries are gun-free zones. You probably know them well. Countries like Australia, Great Britain, France, etc. They don't allow their citizens to keep and bear arms, and they tend to have a lot of shootings. People say that America has the most mass shootings of any developed country, and that's just not true. Okay, you look at the FBI statistics; they will tell you that that's not true. If you keep promoting that factoid, that falsehood, then you're part of the problem. Okay, if you have actual statistics backed by one of the premier law enforcement agencies in the country, just because they don't support your position doesn't mean that you can just discount them as false. So I am happy to say that they support my position on the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. So let me see. Lots of reasons why people go into gun-free zones to kill people. The first one being self-preservation, which is kind of interesting.
Right.
They go into these gun-free zones because they know that law-abiding citizens aren't going to be there with their guns, and that most likely the only people who are going to be in there are either sworn law enforcement, who are generally allowed to go wherever they need to go, whether they've got their uniform on or not, as long as they are on duty, or as long as they are a peace officer. At least here in Texas, as long as you're a peace officer, you're always on duty. You're considered always on duty. If you're out of your jurisdiction, even if it hasn't changed since my police academy days, even if you're out of your jurisdiction, you can still intervene on felonies. I mean, you can't pull over somebody for a traffic stop, but that might have changed too. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a police officer. You have to make sure you know the law. So somebody can go in there because they know they're not gonna, their chance of getting shot or have returned fire when they start shooting are minimal. They also know that response time is probably going to be fairly slow. I don't know why that is. I read that somewhere. That might not be true either. I apologize. Okay, the peach mead is so. Other reasons. Well, any reason that anybody would have to go in someplace and shoot up the place, it's a lot easier at a gun-free zone than it is where people might be armed. You don't see these people going into biker rallies or law enforcement conventions starting to try to shoot up the place. There's a reason for that, because there's guns there. You don't see people generally going after politicians and celebrities because guess what? Their bodyguards have guns, and they know that's a hard target. A gun-free zone is a very soft, squishy target.
We recently just finished speaking about some real-world issues and topics, some things that are going on that are a little heavy in the world. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, got a little bit more of our Texas Mead Works delicious honey mead.
Mm-hmm.
Located in Seguin, Texas.
Love them people from Seguin. Yes, we do.
And what a perfect segue into our next topic. So I want to start off with some of my particular highlights for game news recently. One of the more notable ones being Red Dead Redemption 2. Those of you, those of you familiar with the games industry should have heard about this, even if you don't particularly care for the genre or the publisher, Rockstar Games. The first Red Dead Redemption came out, I believe, in 2011 or 2010, a fair amount of time ago. And ever since then, Red Dead Redemption 2 has been long awaited and been looked forward to. And now that it has finally been released last month, everybody has so far had a lot of good things to say about it. They've really...
Not me.
You can definitely tell that Rockstar put a lot of work into it, and they've brought a lot of polish and new innovations to the game. Although there are some people who are a little worried about the crunch time that the developers had to work under in order to get it out on time. Even though it was delayed by 7 months, it was supposed to be out in March.
Yeah,
I think.
it took a long time.
And it was actually delayed until October. But I unfortunately have yet to play it. It's currently only released on Xbox One, and I believe it was re-released for 360. I'm gonna have to double
Which
check
is
on
why
that.
I'm booing, because I'm a PC gamer. I'm not a console gamer, and I want my Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC.
Yep. Now, a
Because
lot
it looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Beautiful game. Beautiful game.
Glitches and play. Oh, go on YouTube and look at some of the funny videos about the gameplay and the glitches and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, they're hilarious.
It's hilarious stuff. Now, when the first Red Dead Redemption came out, of course, it was an Xbox exclusive, and I was a Sony guy. I'm still a Sony guy, so I had a PS3 at the time. Couldn't quite play it myself, but it looked really great. It looked a lot of fun. Now that this second one has come out, I am expecting it to be released on PC anytime soon, especially with Rockstar's release of Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC a few months after the initial release, and with some of the updates that have come out recently, and with the general trend of 99% of the games coming out lately being released on every platform out there, including a lot of old games and new games being released and re-released for the Nintendo Switch. Also included in that release for the Switch is Diablo 3, which is a wonderful game that I've thoroughly enjoyed, and
I liked it too.
Yep.
Had a good time.
The Diablo series is
PC,
great.
on the PC.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you mentioned Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
So the Grand Theft Auto franchise, back when I did play console, 'cause I've been a gamer since Pong, since before Pong, when playing D&D. As a matter of fact,
Right.
A, B, and DB are going to be playing D&D later on today. So, we're going to have some friends over. We're going to be playing some D&D here on this very white oak table.
Oh, yeah.
But Grand Theft Auto 5, or not just 5, but the Grand Theft Auto franchise, there was a big crossover between that first person, well, not quite first person, but over the shoulder, that shooter.
That
game,
third person.
Right? And the Madden folks, because they were both on console, and they're both huge franchises, and a lot of us, even people my age, grew up playing both of those franchises and waiting and camping out for them to be released and things like that. So I guess I've had it easy with PC games. I've been a PC gamer since before Austin was born, pretty much exclusively. I think that the last console that I had, that I owned, now I used to play GTA at friends' houses and Madden at friends' houses. I never had the consoles to play that because my last console was the Sega. It was the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, the Genesis.
And me and one of my old ex-friends, Sean Murphy, used to play LHX. I think it was LHX. It was a helicopter game. And he would pilot and I would shoot. But I segue. I'm sorry. I go off on these tangents. But what I like about Rockstar Games is whether you agree with their content or not.
Yeah, they can be a little hard.
Whatever problems you might have with what happens in the game, it's fantasy. It's a game, okay?
And the games are solid.
They are solid. I mean, they are Rockstar is rock solid. They always have good content, whether you agree with it or not. Their games are generally pretty ready to go out of the box, although not always.
Not always. They're with any AAA release, there's always going to be bugs or issues that can't be seen.
Same thing happened with Skyrim. All the Skyrims.
Yeah, Although Bethesda's famous for their glitches and their bugs.
Oh, yeah. EA is famous for their glitches and stuff. So we aren't crapping on any Blizzard. Hello.
Right.
We're not crapping on anybody specifically. It's all of them, and they're businesses. So yes, they're going to release whatever they want to release because they're private businesses, and they're going to pay the consequences of their actions, and they're going to face their personal responsibility when they have hiccups or content issues or whatever. So that is what it is. So what was the other game you want to talk about?
Now, before we switch topics, I do want to mention that there is some people say some strong evidence. I kind of think it's iffy uh, somebody somewhere, I can't remember where, recently data mined the game and found a companion app, or at least information for a companion app, like for your phone, that you can download. And typically how companion apps work is you download it, you can do in-game missions and send people off to do whatever, and it takes real-world time, and you get in-game rewards like experience or resources or this, that, and the other thing.
I did that with an app. I think it was Battlefield 5. I think Battlefield 5 had a companion app.
No, Battlefield 5
4.
you have
Battlefield
not.
4.
I don't think Battlefield 4 did. If they
One
did,
of the Battlefields did, I know for a fact, because
Right.
I could go into my app on my Steam mobile app on my phone and do something in there. I think I could play as a commander and do stuff like
okay.
that. I'm almost positive.
I know Assassin's Creed 4 has done it. Dying Light.
Another good game, Dying Light on the PC.
And there are a few others. I think Dead Island might have also done it.
Dead Island, another good game.
But there are a few games that have specific apps for that sort of vein. Now, all of those are multi-platform games, so I personally don't know how strong of an indicator this is that it's going to be released on PC. I feel like a companion app could be any platform for any game, depending on if it's online or not. I know Red Dead Redemption 2 has online capabilities for achievements and things like that, like most modern games. So I feel like it could go either way. I would love to see it for PC soon. I imagine it's still going to be a couple months, given the recent trend in game releases. But we'll see. I'm tentatively excited.
Working out the bugs is something that I would not want to have to do myself,
And
which is why I'm not a game designer.
Right. And speaking of bugs, we're going to move on to a company that we mentioned earlier, Bethesda, and the recent release of Fallout 76.
Looks cool.
Looks all right. I've seen some gameplay and I've heard a lot of things about it. I've heard a lot of lukewarm, to put it nicely, reception for the game.
Looking cool and being cool are two different things.
Right.
I point to myself as an example.
Now,
I'll let you decide which one I'm actually cool at, the looking or the being.
Now, Fallout games, I never played the first two, the isometric PC Fallouts that started the series. He did, of course, my old man here.
How dare you?
So I don't know how the latest Fallouts interact with the original story. I started in Fallout 3, didn't play New Vegas, just couldn't really afford it.
I played every single one of them from the beginning of time.
So he's got a better frame of reference than I do.
Love the franchise.
But
like I said, this looks cool, but
oh yeah,
the reviews.
Right. Now, in Fallout 3 and 4, whatever opinions you may have on those two games, their story was a big part of it for a lot of people, from what I understand. I was one of the players who kind of wandered around and just came across things. What the Fallout series and what Bethesda does in a lot of their games is they do what is called environmental storytelling. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's where the story and plot and everything is largely told through diary entries, books, terminals, things like that you find lying around in world, notes,
Walls of text is what I call them, and I usually skip through.
Yeah. Now, if you do skip through them, then you do lose some of the story, but thankfully they do a lot in your face still, because I still have to get some of the plot across.
And I would recommend that if that's how you like to play, you want to read the backstory and everything like that. That's all well and good. And I have actually spent the time to read all of the books and all the text and stuff like that, Skyrim and Fallout and stuff like that. But there are other times, frankly, where, because I know I'm going to end up playing probably over and over again. The first character I create is usually the throwaway, so it's the tutorial character.
Right, for sure.
And I get rid of him because I picked some wrong crap at level 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you can go through and actually read when you feel like it, all of these things, and it does add a lot of depth to the story, and that's one thing that Bethesda has always excelled at in Skyrim and Fallout.
Oh yeah, Fallout especially, and Oblivion and Skyrim and everything. They have
Right,
these.
Morrowind. When I say Skyrim, I mean all of those.
The Elder Scrolls
all the
series.
rims, the Elder Scrolls.
Right. They do a great job of having these strange random encounters, and I believe it was in Skyrim first, Bethesda added radiant quests, which are randomly generated, infinitely respawning quests that happen, like, oh, this person wants to clear out this cave or whatever. But they've really done a great job with keeping their random encounters random, for one thing, and interesting enough that when they do happen, it's a novel experience, and it does enrich and add to the world.
So Fallout 76, though,
Yes,
has taken kind of a 90-degree turn.
Right. All my rambling up to this point is reaching to this point where Fallout 76 did away with literally all of that. So all Fallout 76 is, from what I understand, is just the combat. It looks a lot like Fallout 4's combat. Although since it's an online-only game, the VATS doesn't stop time, which is weird.
VATS basically
is the vault-assisted targeting system
Right.
in-game, if you're interested in that. It in most games up to this point, it stops time. You aim at an enemy, and you can aim at different parts of their body, and you can more often than not get like a guaranteed hit on somebody.
or critical,
Or
bigger
critical.
chance of critical. But
Right.
they've done away with that.
Yeah,
no more VATS stopping time.
Right. They still have VATS, but instead you just kind of aim vaguely at the enemy, and it'll choose a part of their body to shoot and whatever. It looks a little interesting, but from what I've seen, there are still occasional terminals in the game that have some story and something written in there, but it's definitely not a focus of this game. The game seems to be straight combat, straight multiplayer interaction with other players, which is kind of weird for a Fallout game.
Let's read the blurb here. This is Fallout 76. It says, "Our future begins. Bethesda Game Studios, the award-winning creators of Skyrim and Fallout 4, welcome you to Fallout 76, the online prequel where every surviving human is a real person." So every character you see that's a human is somebody else out there. And then let me ask you how long you think it's going to be before they allow you to be or what are those big clawed monsters? Allow you to play the monsters in the
The
game.
Mirelurks or the super mutants or the ghouls or whatever.
What are those ones that were hard as hell to kill?
They're like big and crabby with claws?
No. They had the big claws. They were the big, lanky, muscular...
Death claws.
Death claws.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God, those things are so hard to kill.
Ugh.
I can't wait until they allow you, kind of like Dying Light, to come in
Yeah.
as the
Oh, that's
opponent, the opponent.
Faction, the monsters,
yeah, the
creatures.
monsters or whatever, or like what is the Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor, where you can
Shadow of
mouse-
War.
Shadow of War. You
Yeah,
can
both
actually
of them.
play the orcs side. So yeah, that's cool. So work together or not to continue. Work together or not to survive. Under the threat of nuclear annihilation, you'll experience the largest, most dynamic world ever created in the legendary Fallout universe. It's supposed to be 4 times the size in game
Right.
space.
Physical
4 times the
area.
size as Fallout 4 world was.
So there's a lot of running around, and from what I've seen, and again, I haven't actually played the game yet, unfortunately. I kind of want to, just to have the experience and the first-hand knowledge. But from what I understand, it's very landmark heavy. You have a nice little, like, the best way I could describe it is like a theme park map. You know, when you go to Six Flags, you have your little, map to get you around the park, and it's got just pictures of different rides and different locations in it, and it's kind of stylized and cartoony. That's kind of the map you get in Fallout 76. You have vague locations, and I don't think there's really any specific names, but I have to double check on that. And it's just a lot of interesting things for you to go and explore and kill creatures and fight other people, which as a game concept isn't bad. I just don't feel like it's kind of a Fallout type genre. I don't think Fallout was really meant for that kind of gameplay. Now, if they were to have just put like online co-op or something like that, that probably would have been a little better.
I agree. Fallout up to this point has been a single player type of deal where it's an environmental threat, not a human player or character threat. So
Right.
I think it's going to be kind of some growing pains. There are going to be kind of some growing pains in with players who have been following Fallout the franchise as long as some of us have, having to come in and change the way they think about the game to begin with. I'm going to start a hashtag though. No battle royale in Fallout 76. That's the hashtag. No battle royale in Fallout 76. We have enough battle royale games. Please, Bethesda, don't do that to us. No, he's like, well,
see, I'm a sucker for the battle royale genre, and I like seeing a lot of games, if not making that their focus, then at least having that as a game mode like Battlefield 5 did. But yes, Fallout 76, it looks all right, looks solid, like as solid as Bethesda games are and can be. So I'm excited to see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's in my favorites on Steam. Austin and I have been Steam members for a long time, and it pops up and says, hey, something on your wish list or something on your interest list is available to look at or is for sale, or something along those lines. So one of the games that myself and my best friend Gary have been playing for years and years, another one of those years and years things.
From the beginning, right?
Yes.
You guys played it from the very first game in this series.
From the very first Civilization all the way up till now.
Mm-hmm. Civilization 6.
Civilization 6. Now they just came out with Rise and Fall in October. They just released Rise and Fall.
The first DLC for
Civilization 6. Not
6.
October. It was like earlier, March I think it was. So it was the first DLC for Civ 6, and it brought some interesting things to the gameplay. And again, it's one of those situations where the diehard fans hate change. Okay, I mean, change is always bad. Well, it's actually turned out to be okay. I've enjoyed it. Some folks have some very valid problems with the game mechanics in Rise and Fall. I enjoy it. I think it deals with religious pressure from civilizations, cultural pressure, things like that. I like it. I have lots of fun. I have hundreds of hours playing this game.
Thousands.
Well, I'm talking specifically Civ 6 Rise and Fall. I have probably, if I had a nickel for all the hours I spent playing Civ 6, I wouldn't trade it for the time that I played Civ 6 or Civilization period, coming all the way through. It's like the Might and Magic franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, people play that and they keep releasing different titles. Why? Because people like the game. That's all there is to it. It's like all of the D&D games, all the way up to Planescape.
Yeah.
I mean, Baldur's Gate. Remember Baldur's Gate? Oh my God, I love that game. Spent hours playing that game. Anyway, but there's a new expansion coming out called Gathering Storm for Civ 6. I'm talking about Gathering Storm is coming on Valentine's Day of 2019. This is EA, right?
No, I don't think this is EA. I
thought. Yeah.
No, Civilization is Firaxis.
Firaxis. Okay, so Firaxis is about to get in a lot of trouble because on Valentine's Day 2019, there are going to be a lot of people breaking up with sons of bitches who are out there wanting to play Civ 6. Storm, was this Storm? It's Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm, yeah.
Rather than take the lady friend out to wherever.
Sorry, babe, my civilization needs me.
Yeah. They've got new civs, baby. They've got new leaders. They've got new units. I love you, but so whether you're a gamer or not, there is an influence on your life from all of these video games that have been released ever since Pong. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have something to do in your leisure time. It's good to have something to do to kind of escape, right? Mm-hmm. From that's why we did the games after all the heavy stuff before.
Right.
It's because the heavy stuff before, that's real world shit that is just I'm cussing and stuff. That's real world stuff that is dark, and it shows us the bad side of society and civilization. These games are a way to literally escape from that world for a little while, and to have fun doing it and to make friends. I mean, there are stories of people who have met online
Right.
through a game
Relationships.
and have gotten married.
Yeah.
Or started businesses or done, created organizations to make the world a better place.
There are even people who have gotten hired to work on, in fact, it's not a game, but the new Detective Pikachu movie. To kind of go off on a little tangent here, one of the art directors on that movie was hired specifically because they made fan art of the Pokemon game up to this point. They made realistic Pokemon, and when they started making this movie, they were like, this person needs to be on our team. And so it's kind of crazy to see how games can bring people together like that.
And if you like sports, you like football and basketball and baseball, guess what? Esports are a thing. They are coming with a huge rush. All right. The PUBG.
Oh, PUBG helped. Yeah, absolutely.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is probably a phenomenon that we have not seen the end of. People are trying to capitalize on that Battle Royale thing, even though they weren't the first to do it.
No, they were definitely...
I assert that they were the first to perfect the Battle Royale.
They did a great job with it. They really brought it into prominence. And
now everybody's doing it, which is why I'm saying no Battle Royale in Fallout 76.
Right. In fact, it was such a clear influence that they tried to... I believe there was an attempted lawsuit or a lawsuit with Epic Games in their Fortnite release.
Yes.
When Fortnite...
Actually, Battle Royale.
Right, they released a Battle Royale version after in mid-beta after the story missions of that game.
They saw PUBG and they're like,
yeah, like
hey,
let's make that money.
We can do this too. So now that being said, I still enjoy Fortnite's Battle Royale more than Arma. Right, Arma had Battle Royale too, right? Arma 2.
No, Arma 2. The reason why. Actually, PUBG was an Arma 2 mod that started PUBG, or that they made the Battle Royale version for as an Arma 2 mod.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it got released. Same thing with DayZ, which is a zombie survival. Originally started out as a mod, just a straight made up fan mod for Arma 2, because with the system, the Arma series has been famous for their realism, and so people decided to take that and play with that a little bit and add, zombies and this Battle Royale stuff, and whereas a lot of companies and games have been releasing Battle Royale versions, PUBG has stuck with more or less realism. Of course, it's really difficult to go full realism in a lot of games because games need to be fun and the games need to be interacted in a certain way, and you need to be able to do certain things. And having full realism kind of steps on that a little bit.
The percentage of rage quits from PUBG is probably
man.
a lot higher than any other game in the history of games. So, basically, worry about the real world, worry about your rights, worry about how people are treating others in society. Be nice to people.
Oh, yeah.
And play your games.
Yeah.
Go home at night. Create a game night for your family. Play Sorry or play Yahtzee,
right,
or play D&D, or get together and create your. Everybody's got a LAN, a local area network in their house. Buy 3 copies of the game, or buy one with a gift copy or something like that, or a couple of gift copies, and get together as a family and play some of these games online. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And just as technology has advanced to almost kill the print news media, and it's now almost everybody's going exclusively online. I think games will become the same way. So right. you can play. We play Catan.
Oh yeah.
We play Munchkins, Space Munchkins. Catan you can play online.
Oh
Munchkins
yeah.
You can't.
There's actually a version of Catan on Steam if you are interested in that. You can play online with computers or other people. And like Dave was saying, don't. Just play what you want to play. Don't worry about what other people are going to say about it. Even casual gamers are still gamers. You play your games, you have fun, you have a good time. That's all you should really look for in a game.
It's a point of commonality between people that almost everybody likes to play games.
Right.
Whether it's
have fun.
Actual sports games, physical sports, board games, computer games, or dice games, gambling games. Yeah. I like some poker. I like some Texas Hold'em.
Now, a lot of the stuff we talked about, a lot of these games, a lot of these issues or so-called negative thoughts about these games, I don't particularly follow or believe in or think myself. I have seemingly low standards for my games. I enjoy a lot, and it takes a lot for me to actually dislike or not play a game. But
He plays some games that I'm like, what the hell is this?
yeah. There's some games people are like, how can you?
But he
how do you
also
play
plays
that?
some games that I'm like, ooh, I gotta get that. What was that? What was that? Faster Than Light.
Yeah, Faster Than Light.
I saw him playing Faster Than Light. And
That's
I'm
a
like,
fun
ooh.
little game. I'm a sucker for roguelikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
We've
Play
hit
a game.
your ear enough. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, play your games.
Have fun, you know.
Make a difference in the world if you can. And as always, be nice to each other. Support the Second Amendment. Support your right to self-defense and your right of freedom of speech. And just be nice to people. Have
Cheers.
a good one. See you next time on the Dave Bristol Show.